the weather conditions. When giving consideration in 1913, when women of Delta Sigma Theta sorority marched at the back of the women's suffrage movement in February 2013, and those inclement weather conditions. When giving consideration in 1965 to those marching across the Pettus Bridge in inclement weather conditions. When giving consideration in 1968, when Dr. Martin Luther King gave his last speech, and it was one of the stormiest nights to remember, and the church was packed. And when I reflect upon former President Barack Obama in Virginia receiving an announcement on the campaign trail that his grandmother had died in the storm. And the thought of me wanting to postpone this day in history, absolutely not. We as a people are resilient in so many ways. And the history that I have recanted also forced me to reminisce a little bit about wanting to have been there. Wanting to have been there with Harriet Tubman. Wanting to have been a part of the women's suffrage movement. Wanting to be a part of that audience when Martin Luther King spoke that night. Wanting to be there in the rain when Barack Obama was campaigning. I was not there. But when history is written, I'd like for it to be noted that February the 1st, 2020, we are here in the rain paying tribute to Black history. For some of you who are here for the first time, I need you to know this is the 5th consecutive year that Mayor Rick Kreisman, along with city administration, will raise the Carter G. Woodson flag over City Hall. I stand with me today with my chair of the board, Dana Battle, and members of our board, our friends, with all of you, members of City Council, School Board, and all of you. We say thank you for wanting to pay tribute and honor, as Carter G. Woodson said, not Negro history, but the Negro in history. It's incredibly important that we recognize the role that African Americans have played in history. And we thank you for being here, and we are honored to participate in this wonderful celebration. Thank you.
Well said, Terry. I would be remiss in continuing my comments if I also didn't recognize, and I realized after I stepped aside, I said, oh my goodness, I did not say recognize you, my incredible Deputy Mayor and City Administrator, Dr. King Katonda. So Dr. Carter G. Woodson and a minister named Jesse Moreland founded a group dedicated to promoting the achievements of African Americans across the nation. These were the roots of Black History Month, and every president since Gerald Ford has formally designated February as Black History Month and endorsed a specific theme. This year's theme is African Americans and the vote. Well, I think everyone here knows what you need to do this election year. Get out and vote. And register your friends to vote. We need your voice now more than ever. Now, as you know, last year's vote right here in St. Pete led to 2 African American women on our city council for the first time ever. My friends, Lisa Wheeler-Bowman and Deborah Figgs Sanders. And on any given Thursday, up to 4 African American women sit on our council dais. Our 2 elected officials, as well as our deputy mayor and city administrator, Dr. Kanika Tomlin, and our assistant city attorney, Janine Williams. And I want you all to think about that for a moment. There are 12 seats up there. A third of them belong to African American women. This is what St. Pete looks like in 2020. We are a city that doesn't just recognize and honor our national heroes, but our local ones too. And that's why you see Leon Jackson of the Courageous 12 serving as the Grand Marshal of our MLK parade. That's why we gather on days like this to honor the people who are not just leading the Woodson Museum today, but are building its future. And so on this day, the first day of February in the year of 2020, let us again raise this special flag and pay tribute to those who endured so much and blazed so many trails, both here in St. Pete and around our nation. Let's raise this flag again to tell the world why the sun shines here, even on the cloudiest or rainiest of days. And so, if I could have with me Lisa, Deborah, Kanika, and Janine, would you please join Terry and I as we raise the flag?